Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. Just a very quick recap of what we've done so far. We started with what is Sanatan Dharma and looked at the different scriptures, at least on a very overview basis, the vastness of Vedic literature. And then we began by looking at the Vedic conception of time and how vast that is. And then we looked at Ishwar, what is Godhead, what does God mean, who is God. We looked at who we are, Jiva. We also, number 6, yeah. We looked at how in this world we are impacted by karma, reincarnation, and what are the conditions under which we live in this world. We looked at the modes of material nature, and then we looked at them in connection with a lot of our different aspects of our lives, in the 3 modes, how they impact our different aspects of our life. Then we looked at the 3 aspects of Godhead, 3 realizations of God. That is the Brahmajyoti, Paramatma, and Bhagwan stage. And then last week, we looked at the yoga systems, and including Bhakti Yoga. So today we're going to focus on Bhakti Yoga. Just a quick recap of last week. Karma Yoga, we start with sort of Karma Yoga, if you like. As one of the yogas which people is recommended, that we don't become attached to the fruits of our labor, and we offer those fruits as well to the Supreme Lord. The next step up from that is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is where you're accumulating knowledge. What is real, what is not real, what is supreme, what is not supreme, that sort of knowledge. And eventually you come to the stage of understanding that we are not this body, which is quite a very good state of realization. And that can be attained through Jnana Yoga. And then there's the stage of Dhyan Yoga, Astanga Yoga. Astanga Yoga is, again, where one becomes, controls the minds, controls the senses, and tries to focus on the spirit soul, on the supreme soul, rather, Paramatma, generally. Now, what we discussed last week, how Bhakti Yoga is the top of the ladder. And the reason being, Bhakti Yoga includes all of the other yogas. Bhakti Yoga connects one to the Supreme directly. The others can be a little bit indirect, in the sense that one has to do so many different things in Dhyan Yoga, even before coming to the stage of any sort of realization of God. Same with Dhyan Yoga, yes, same with Jnana Yoga. One has to decipher so much information before even trying to understand who God is. And Karma Yoga, there may not even be a conception of God, because Karma Yoga is where one is detached from the fruits of one's labor. But Bhakti Yoga connects one straight away to the Supreme. This is the power of Bhakti Yoga, very, very powerful. And essential definition of Bhakti Yoga is loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That's what connects one to the Lord. And if remember, yoga means to connect with God. And we talked about, and this Lord Krishna can be, one God, many forms. Lord Vishnu is a form of the Lord, as is Lord Ramachandra. It doesn't have to be Krishna. Bhakti Yoga applies to any of the avatars of the Supreme Lord. And as we discussed last week, it's the most direct process. It's like taking the elevator to the spiritual world rather than the staircase. So Bhakti Yoga gives that direct, fast process. And in this world, fast is good because we have short lives. So we might as well make the most of a bad bargain. So today we want to focus on the 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga. What does it actually mean? And this is the scriptural reference for what we're going to talk about today. Would you like to do that?
Shri Praharad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Achanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam Itipum Sarpita Vishnu Bhaktis Chennava Kriyate Bhagavati Adha Tanmanyaditam Uttamam. Translation: Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through his 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge.
So often we get questioned, what is Bhakti Yoga? So these 2 verses actually answer that question. There's 9 processes which are all accepted as Bhakti Yoga, pure devotional service. And if we connect to any one of them, or a combination of them, or all of them, then we are going to be properly situated in Bhakti. So what are these 9 processes? We'll go through them one by one. And what we want to also do is give an example of who has attained perfection just by focusing on one of these processes, aspects. So let's make a start. Hearing, the first one. So if we look at the 9, there's Shravanam, hearing, chanting, remembering, that's 3. Offering the Lord respectful worship, serving the Lord, offering prayers, so that's 6. Becoming his servant, considering him our best friend, and surrendering everything unto him, that's 9. So the first one, hearing, Shravanam. So by hearing, we connect with the Supreme. It's the easiest way to connect. When there's a robbery taking place at somebody's home in the middle of the night, the eyes can't help, but the ears can. Through the ears, we can perhaps hear somebody breaking in and we can alert the authorities. Hearing is very important. It's the beginning process of bhakti. So hearing attentively is very important. Actually, the message, if we hear attentively, the message enters into the heart and it can completely transform one's life if one hears this message of bhakti, of devotion to God, of the pastimes of God, the pastimes of his devotees. These completely purify the Atma, and place us in devotion. Maharaj Parikshit, he perfected his life simply by hearing this one process of Bhakti Yoga. Because what happened, he was cursed to die in 7 days. He made a mistake. He's the grandson of Arjun. He's the son of Uttara and Abhimanyu. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. And unfortunately, he was a righteous king. He was an amazing king, but he made one mistake. Kali Yuga had started. He made one mistake. And he was unnecessarily cursed to die, even though he was a righteous king. But he didn't. He could have counteracted that curse because he was very powerful, but he didn't. He said, okay, I'm very fortunate. I know when I'm going to die. I have 7 days. So he went onto the bank of the Ganga and he waited there for learned people to come and advise him. And all of the most amazing learned personalities in this world came, including Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, Srila Vyasadeva, many, many came. And he asked them, what is my duty at the time of death? What am I now to do? So Bhagavad Gita is, what are we to do while we're living? And Bhagavatam is, what am I to do at the end? So it's very powerful. This Bhagavatam is extremely powerful. So just by hearing the Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights, he perfected his life and he became completely situated in Bhakti, and he realized God, and he ended up in the spiritual world. Next.
Sorry. The sense of hearing is also the first sense that is awakened in according to the doctors, and also the last sense that goes as well. So the child in the womb will his first sense is the sense of hearing. So that will be awakened first, and also when you're on your deathbed, that is the last sense that will go. So again, for the material sense, that is a very important aspect of hearing.
Chanting, singing God's names, very important, because when we sing and we hear at the same time, again, the purificatory process is very fast, very quick. Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, cleanses the heart. Chanting the holy names of the Lord cleanses the heart from all the dirty things that are in it. Who perfected themselves? Well, the reciter of the Bhagavatam. Although all these great exalted personalities were before Parikshit Maharaj, when Shukadev Goswami came, who was the son of Vyasadeva, only a 16-year-old boy, he was so renounced, so perfected in his bhakti. Everybody gave way to him. He sat on the Vyasasan and he answered the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. He's regarded as one of the great authorities of the Bhagavatam, of God, in fact. So he spoke this Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj for 7 days, 7 nights. And in this way, he perfected himself. And he also became completely self-realized. He was already a self-realized soul. But then he also attained the Supreme Lord as well. And this is the scenario. This is Narad Muni here. Vyasadeva is there. So many exalted personalities. And this is Sukadeva Goswami, very renounced person. And this is Parikshit Maharaj, listening with great humility.
Another example would be Narad Muni as well, because he's always chanting the Lord's names.
Yeah, many fit into these categories. We just picked, these are actually not that we picked them. Again, these are from the scriptures. These are illustrations of these 9 processes perfected by these 9 individuals, has been given to us by the scriptures as well. So remembering Vishnu Smaranam, remembering the Lord, very, very important. Not just when we're having a tough time. Oh, my dear Lord, help me. Well, in good or bad or in different times, constant remembrance of the Lord is recommended. And the person who perfected this was Prahlad Maharaj. He never forgot Vishnu, despite constant tortures from his father, Hiranyakashipu. And we were discussing this when we did the drama this Saturday gone about Hori, how Prahlad Maharaj, he didn't pray to the Lord for protection, even though he was being harassed by his own father, to the point they were trying to kill him in so many different ways. But not once did he say to the Lord, please protect me. He was simply engaged in remembrance. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Never even once asking anything for himself. Just he was engaged in the remembrance of the Lord. And the Lord would come and protect him in every difficult situation. But he never asked for protection. And this is the glory of Prahlad Maharaj. I remember my spiritual master, he used to talk so much about Prahlad, as did Prabhupada, as did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would spend hours and hours just talking about this incredible personality. And the whole chapter, there's 2 chapters dedicated in the Srimad Bhagavatam to Prahlad Maharaj and his nature and behavior. All this time, his father was harassing him. He was thinking his father was playing with him. He wasn't naive, but at the same time, he was so devotional that he never thought bad of anyone. He really was a devotee of high caliber. So just simply by remembering the Lord, he attained perfection. To the extent that the Lord himself appeared as half man, half lion, Nrsingadev, to protect Prahlad from his own father. Really extraordinary pastime. And we sing this Nrsinga prayers every single day, so that we can be protected to serve Radha and Krishna. That's the whole idea. We don't want to be protected so that we can do nonsense. We want to be protected so that we can serve the Supreme Lord, to serve Radha and Krishna. And this is an example of Holika sitting in the fire, and Prahlad also was invited to sit in the fire. They were thinking Prahlad would die. And Holika had been given the boon that she was immune from fire. But in fact, she's the one who died. And Prahlad, look at him, just meditating, not even worried about it. So, 4th, Padasevanam, serving the Lord's lotus feet. And of course, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, is always engaged in serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. She never leaves his side. She never leaves his shelter. Many people like to worship Lakshmi, but they don't understand that Lakshmi is only where Narayan is. So if there's Narayan, Lakshmi is automatically there. When we worship Narayan, Lakshmi comes along automatically. But she's always, always massaging the lotus feet. So she's, that is her perfection. Deity worship, Archanam, is something also, it's a process of bhakti. And next week I was thinking we can look at this in a little bit more detail, because everybody, I presume, more or less will be doing some sort of arti every day, some sort of offering of ghee lamp or water, something. So we go through that process of arti and what are the different elements of worship, deity worship. And Maharaj Prithu is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, a great king who used all of the possessions in his royal kingdom and would offer them to the Supreme Lord. Here he is. He's described in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think. And one of Lord Vishnu's own servants came and was serving Maharaj Prithu himself. Lord Shiva also came, and he offered many things to this amazing king. And he perfected his life by performing this deity worship. The deity is regarded to be an extension of the Supreme Lord. Just like a post box, an authorized post box, if you put a letter, it'll reach the destination. Similarly, the deity, as long as it's authorized, whatever offering or service is done to the deity will reach the Supreme Lord. It's non-different. The deity and the Lord is the same. Vandanam, praying, offering prayers to the Lord. And Akrur, he perfected his life by offering prayers to Krishna when he was traveling to Vrindavan in order to see Krishna. Kams, he had ordered Akrur, go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna to Mathura. I have plans for him. Akrur, he wasn't on the side of, he was a devotee, he wasn't on the side of Kams. But he took the opportunity of going to Mathura, and on the way, he offered amazing prayers and amazing attitude. This is Akrur. He was looking at the lotus feet of the Lord and he was mesmerized. These are the footprints of the Supreme Lord. And how to approach Vrindavan, he actually gave the guidelines. And Vrindavan is wherever there is a temple. So we have a wonderful temple in Crawley that is non-different from the spiritual world. So when we go to the temple, when we go to Vrindavan, how do we go? We go with a heart of devotion. We feel very fortunate to be able to go to Vrindavan or to the temple. And we feel very unqualified. We should be feeling, I actually have no right to be going to Vrindavan or to the temple. But by the Lord's mercy, He's allowing me. We thank all those that have made it possible for us to go to the temple or to Vrindavan. We glorify the Lord's lotus feet. We meditate on His form and pastimes. That's what we do when we go to a temple. There's beautiful forms, deities of the Lord. We focus on the Lord's beauty. We appreciate the Lord's beauty. And we don't do any gossip. We don't go to a temple or to Vrindavan or to any holy place and talk politics or gossip. Only Krishna Katha. And finally, offering obeisances. We offer our humble obeisances to the holy places and the Lord's lotus feet as well. So this is really fantastic if we can do that when we go to the temple. Serving as a servant, Dasyam, Hanuman, of course, perfected his bhakti by becoming the greatest servant of the Supreme Lord, Ramachandra Bhagwan. The intimate servant of Ramachandra executed all of his orders despite all kinds of difficulties. Whenever Lord Ramachandra would instruct Hanuman, even before instructing Hanuman would know this is what the Lord is going to be requesting. He'll be already ready to carry out the Lord's order. He's the greatest example of servant of the Supreme Lord. And he conquered the Lord. In this world, a servant means something derogatory. But in the spiritual world, the servant actually is the master because he controls, he wins over the Lord by his love. So it's exactly the opposite of this material world. So by becoming a servant of the Lord, it doesn't mean we have an inferior position. The Lord really gives amazing reciprocation. So this is a fantastic picture of Hanuman with Ramachandra, Lakshman and Sita. Serving as a friend, Sakyam, and that was Arjun. He perfected his life by being so close to Krishna that the Lord offered himself to become his chariot driver and serve Arjun and his brothers in various ways. This is what we mean by conquering the Lord. The Lord became subservient to the devotee. As a chariot driver, Arjun would instruct him by kicking him. Can you imagine? The one who controls the chariot, he tells the driver to go left and right, not by telling him, but by kicking him. He would kick Krishna on one side. Krishna would take the horses on that side, take the chariot on that side. So it's very, it's a demeaning position, but the Lord takes that demeaning position to serve his devotee. So if we can also be in the position of friendship to the Supreme Lord. If we so desire, if we have that mood, it's possible. Oh yes, this is such an amazing picture, amazing painting. And last one, Atman Nivedanam, complete surrender. And the person who perfected this, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, is Bali Maharaj. He gave Vamandev his entire kingdom, his possessions, as well as his body. Even though his own spiritual master was against him. His own spiritual master was Sukracharya. Bali Maharaj controlled all the three worlds, including the heavens. He was a demon, but actually he was a devotee. When he saw Vamandev approach his yajna that he was doing, he was mesmerized. Vamandev asked for 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj said, "Is that all you want? Take more." And Sukaracharya said, no, don't believe this Vamandev, this Brahman boy. He's actually Vishnu. He's going to take everything from you. And Bali Maharaj said, great, Vishnu has come. I will give him everything. So he disobeyed his own spiritual master, surrendered everything. The Lord took one step, covered the earth. Took the second step, he covered everything in creation. And Vamandev said, where do I put my third step? You've broken your promise. And Bali Maharaj said, no, I haven't. You can place your third foot on my head. So this is where he gave himself completely, and he perfected his life. And Vamandev became very pleased with Bali Maharaj. And he attained a place where Bali Maharaj remains as his gatekeeper. So he's been given this place of, was it Patalok? Sutalok, yes, right, Sutalok. And he lives there, and Vamandev is his gatekeeper. So this is another example where the Lord becomes subservient to his devotee. So this is when Bali Maharaj was tied up because he had broken the promise to the Lord that he was meant to give 3 steps of land. And then he said to the Lord, yes, you can place your feet on my head. And there was one example, there's an example of one personality who's perfected all the 9 processes simultaneously. And his name is Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj is described in the Srimad Bhagavad Puran as a really amazing king. He ruled the whole world. And this is the description given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Ambarish always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of the Lord, of Lord Krishna. His words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord. He engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, his desires in serving the Lord, 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Pariksit never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various engagements relating to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment to the Lord, for the Lord, and be completely free from all material desires. So we can also try to follow in the footsteps of these great devotees and acharyas. We can, especially as we're growing older. When we're younger, we got so many things to achieve, etc. But as we grow older, we can realize actually nothing really makes any difference to our life except when we're connected with God. And when we're connected with God, then we can always think about him, speak about him, hear about him, visit the temples in nice moods, engage all of our senses, different senses that we have in serving the Lord in some capacity. So Maharaj Ambarish, he perfected all 9 processes simultaneously. Okay, it's past. We're not going to have time to go through this. This is something extraordinary, actually. And at one point, we will go through this, hopefully. This is planting this seed of Bhakti. It's called the Bhakti Lata Bij. And gardeners will know this. When you plant a seed and it starts sprouting into a nice plant and then flower, we have to look after that. So once we plant this seed of Bhakti, we have to look after it in order to attain the fruit, which is prema bhakti, having devotion for the Lord. And there's many aspects of how we can water this plant of bhakti and always going in the right direction. And there's also different things we have to be aware of, the weeds, because together with the plant, we'll also grow the weeds. So we have to be able to notice and separate the weeds from the plant so that we get rid of the weeds, but we nurture the plant. And there are all these different aspects of this Bhakti Lata Bij, which we can consciously be aware of, and some of them we avoid, some of them we take on board. And maybe one session we can, at least half of one session, we can have a look at this Bhakti Lata Bij, so that we protect our creeper of Bhakti, so that it fructifies into something magnificent. It's very easy to lose any Bhakti that we have, because of bad association, so many, temptations in this world. But what this Bhakti Lata Bij, what this chart will show us, is how to protect this Bhakti plant and notice the weeds, get rid of the weeds. So I wanted to stop there and take any questions if there are any. Now we're missing our dynamic duo, Ishwari and Kishori. They usually have 100 questions. So I think there's one in the chat. So one question: Mahabharata happened in Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga actually. According to different yugas, there is a sandhya between the S2 yugas. Does start of Kali Yuga happen during Parikshit Maharaj? Yes, very good. Good question. So what happened? We've got the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, although sometimes the yugas sort of interchange, but this is what's happened in the last session, last set of yugas. And then we have Kali Yuga. So what happened when Krishna left this world over 5,000 years ago? The onslaught of Kali Yuga took place. So Kali Yuga started to enter. However, there were how many thousands of sages? 10. Was it only 10? 10,000 sages. Sorry?
80,000.
Yeah, 80,000 sages in Naimicharan. They did 1,000-year yajna to stop the advancement of Kali Yuga. So they managed to stop the advancement of Kali Yuga for some time. But Kali Yuga's time had come, and Parikshit Maharaj was the first king after Yudhishthir, who he took over from Yudhishthir. And Kali Yuga began its reign at that time. So Parikshit Maharaj, Kali Yuga came, approached him, or he approached Kali in order to punish him, because Kali was being quite destructive to Gomata and the bull. But Kali took shelter, surrendered unto the king and said, I am your servant, I am your citizen, you have to protect me. I am one of yours. And he said, okay, you can live in places where there's sin, meat eating, then where there's prostitution, where there's gambling, where there's intoxication. And Kali said, well, that's good, thank you, but that's not enough. Give me some more places. He said, okay, you can live where there's gold and a few other places. Now, of course, the king was wearing a gold crown. So Kali entered and made the king make one mistake. And that mistake, in one way, was bad. The consequences were bad. But of course, we're very fortunate, because even if bad things happen to us, we have to understand nothing bad can happen to us, because everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. He won't let anything bad happen to us. So even if something apparently bad happens, we take it in the right mood, right way, we can turn it into a positive, spiritual positivity. So Maharaj Parikshit cursed, bad thing, but he took it very positively. No problem. I will go on the banks of the Ganga and wait to be instructed what to do from the spiritual point of view. So yes, good question, Rosha. Thank you for that. Hope that answered the question, by the way. Oh, what mistake did he do? What he did, he was in the forest, and he was very, very thirsty. He went to the ashram of Shamaka Rishi. Was it Shamaka Rishi? Shamaka Rishi. And Shamaka Rishi, he was a great sage. He was meditating, and he didn't notice the king. The king was upset that he was being ignored by the sage. And because he was thirsty, he was even more angry. He saw a dead snake next to the sage, and he picked up the dead snake and he put it around the neck of the sage. The sage didn't notice because he was in meditation. But his son found out. Some people told him. His son's name was Shringi. And Shringi became very upset. And he cursed the king. You will die in 7 days. Now, the king had already gone, right? King had realized when he got back to the palace, oh, what did I do? What a mistake. And I'm sure there's going to be a consequence. And then when the father of the son, Shringi, Samaka Rishi, he realized what the son had done. He told his son, you have misused Brahmanical power. Parikshit Maharaj is a righteous king. Why have you done this? Why have you cursed him for such a small aparat? And Shamaka Rishi, he went to the king and he explained to him that what had happened. And the king said, no problem. If I have 7 days to live, it's no problem. Thank you for letting me know. So that was his mistake. Anybody else? Any questions? Ashwin Bhai.
Hello, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I am really impressed by Ambarish Maharaj, who possessed all these 9.
Yeah.
I just did a quick audit of myself, and I can't even get to being perfect in one.
I'm sure that's not true.
It is difficult to remain focused. And my take on this is, you have to practice. Practice makes you perfect.
Yeah.
Without practice, none of this is possible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, that until I got familiar with how London Institute of Vedic Education goes about sort of talking about Dharma, religion, I didn't know as much as I do now today. So I am learning every day, even at my age, and it is immense, and I am so excited that I'm part of life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot, actually. I'm learning from you. You're teaching us so much. Amazing things.
You see,
and what you've done, actually, you underestimate what you do.
No, but
you inspire. You've made the whole amazing temple in Crawley, inspiring thousands of people.
Yeah, but it's I don't know where the power comes from. It's that bhakti that I am looking for. Where is the bhakti come from to be able to do that? And I think I'm learning from you that I have to perfect myself on these 9 different elements to make me better. And thank you for
that. You're so humble, but you're such a long way down that path. So thank you so much. But everything you do is just inspiring. So you're a long, long way down that path already, Ashwin Bhai. Believe me. Amazing.
Thank you.
Oh yes, Priti, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I just have a comment to make, okay? So recently, the 10 offenses to holy name was spoken out, and I was somewhere and I was speaking it. And the last offense was something about chanting in not in, what was that word? Intensively.
Yeah.
Right. So to not have faith in the holy name, and I when practicing that in mind, it's quite amazing. So chanting and hearing yourself chanting is one thing, but to really have like faith in it and to really focus in it, I think is just something else altogether. So yeah, that was just my experience that I had, and I was like, wow, that was quite mind blowing. So yeah.
Very good, brilliant experience. Yeah, because when we're chanting, we're actually inviting the Lord to be with us, have a one-to-one conversation. Are we in that conversation, or are we inviting him with our sound, but our mind is somewhere else? Then we've missed the point. We've invited the most amazing person, but we're not communicating with him. We miss the point. So this inattentive chanting is the root cause of all of our problems, actually. If we get that bit right, attentive chanting, whilst we're living in this world, it doesn't matter. Let it happen. Whatever's karma is going to hit us, let it hit us. What to do. But we're with the Lord, and he's always going to protect us. Not the body, but the Atma. He will always protect. Very nice realization, Priti. Thank you. Appreciate that. Pari, anything you'd like to share or ask?
Not really, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I guess when I look over it again, I'll get more questions and let you know.
Yes, of course.
Can I ask a supplementary question?
Yeah, of course.
All these are good as long as you exist. Correct.
In a body, right?
Correct. So, which is the 10th maybe element for me would be, how do you best look after yourself so that you can do all this and benefit from it? So that, I think, is very critical. If you're there, everything is there. If you're not there, it doesn't matter.
If you have a vehicle, you can use that vehicle to serve the Lord. But it's not that without the vehicle, without the body, you can't serve the Lord. You can. But I completely understand where you're coming from. If we have this human body in the first place and we don't look after it, where are you going to do the seva? How are you going to do the seva in the first place? That is a very fair point. Looking after ourselves, so we don't indulge in exploiting our body, so that we become so lethargic and so ill that we can't actually serve the Lord. But let's not direct bhakti. That is, even like, I'll give you an example. My spiritual master, he was a devotee from birth, and he took Diksha when he was 16. But when he was like 50, when he was 50, he had a quadruple bypass operation.
More than 40. It probably was 60.
No, he was, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago. So he was 40.
50.
50, yeah, he was 50. And you'd have thought he'd slow down. But actually, after that operation, he took off. He went to America. He went to South Africa. He went to Mauritius. These countries, Caribbean islands. He'd never been to these places. But they were inviting him, and he went out of an obligation to serve the Lord by preaching, because he was a preacher. So even if this body is useless, is not able to serve, those who are fixed in their consciousness, they will serve the Lord no matter what. So he had all sorts of bodily pains and aches, and you can just imagine quadruple bypass, but it never stopped him from doing bhakti. So yes, I agree that we have to look after the body so that.
You're right from a
Yeah,
young.
I'm going on a concept of healthy mind in healthy body, healthy body in healthy mind, and just imagine if this your Guruji, yeah, if he did not suffer from all these different difficulties in health, how much more he could have done.
He never stopped him, but what, let's put it this way. Even while he was in good health, he was doing the same. But the point was, even when bad health came, it didn't stop him. He carried on. In fact, he did more. So I think the prerequisite is, if say we maintain good health, the downside of that might be, I'm healthy, I am wealthy, I can do whatever I want. And we actually forget God. This is the problem. When sometimes we need some difficulty in our life to get our focus. So some people become unhealthy and they actually take shelter of the Supreme Lord. They become very, very, very poor. They take shelter of the Supreme Lord intensely. But the problem is, when the Lord reciprocates and he gives us wealth, what are we going to do at that point? Are we going to stick with the Lord, or are we going to say, thank you, Lord, goodbye, hello, sense enjoyment, and we go in a different direction? So keeping health is good, and I think those who are naturally devoted, they naturally pray to the Lord anyway. We always pray to Lord Narasimha, please keep us healthy so we can serve Radha and Krishna. Not to do nonsense, but to serve the Lord. So thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, Priti?
So regarding what Ashwin was saying there, so there's stuff like the Vedas where they give us like Ayurveda and knowledge like.
Good point. Oh.
And they will tell you what's good for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and sleep, and everything. And yes, you shouldn't focus on all of that stuff, but that is a good way of living, and it's a healthy way of living. And so all of this, if you use all of that knowledge together, if you can get it and try and help, then you'll remain healthy. And when you go to temples and you see people, I know this is just a little bit, but bowing down constantly, going on the ground, there's some yoga involved in that, and you're dancing, that's exercise. Singing is apparently meant to be mentally good for you. So so yes, all of this stuff does help. And visiting temples, I heard something about there are certain ways temples are built. I'm going to say the ones in South Asia, where it helps to line up your chakras and just clear things. So all of that, I guess, is helpful health-wise. Going on yatras, keeping healthy that way. So
very good points, actually. Because Sanatan Dharma is a holistic way of living. You're absolutely right. The Ayurveda is very much part. Keep your body, mind, and soul healthy, so you can really progress spiritually. But Kali Yuga is also very helpful.
Just plugging something in. Next month on the 28th of April, we've organized a seminar to talk about connection between faith and health.
Oh, good. Brilliant.
And we have invited all different faith leaders to talk about how far the faith goes to help with the health kind of use. That's exactly what Preeti just mentioned. We're going to explore this subject from different perspectives. I'll send you the information on that.
And Kanchan would be good because of the Ayurveda aspect, you know, if you need somebody from the Ayurveda point of view.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Did you want to say something else, Preeti? Okay, thank you. That was a really good interaction. Thank you very much. So, Pari, are you okay for the quiz? I haven't even asked you today.
Yes. Just
Great.
waiting for
Yes. Harish has beat you to it. I love the way Harish is so enthusiastic. It's so nice. So everybody can join, and Pari, you can share your screen. This quiz is going to be based on, I presume, the yoga systems, right?
yes.
Last week.
Not Tom and Jerry. Oh man.
Just a second while it pulls.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh yes, let's have Darshan. This is the most incredible deities. Your finger's in the way, Leena Madji. These deities are so incredible because Krishna's got, or Radha's got her hand around Krishna. If you see, it's quite incredible.
Okay, the code, Pari?
Oh yeah, there it is. 190519.
Oh, God. Can you please wait for me?
Yes, Riyaj.
I'm still joining.
That's okay. Take your time.
What is the pin code?
190519.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes, you're in.
Anyone else that is joining, then should I start, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the quiz on the types of yoga or the yoga systems. At the bottom of the yoga ladder is animal life, meditation, prema towards Krishna, or karma yoga. One more person, and they've answered. So the correct answer was animal life. The animal life leads to lower planets, lower forms of life, hellish life, or all of the above. Correct, all of the above. It could be anything. What does Karma Gandha consist of? Fruitive work. This has two answers. Fruitive work, activities for sense gratification, only eating and sleeping, or only mating and defending. Two answers. and very correct. The first two were right. In Karma Yoga, we are not attached to the fruits. In Nishkama Karma Yoga, we attach the fruits to the Lord. Is that true or false? Oh, so it's actually true. So well done to the people that selected that. Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga lead us to be in a yogi family, heaven, higher planets, or any of the above. Correct. Could be any of the above. Jnana Yoga involves fruitive work. This also has two answers. Fruitive work, having speculative knowledge about Brahman, committing to austerities, or doing activities for gratification. Two answers. The middle two were correct and majority got that. So well done. Most Western yoga focuses on yama, asana, dharana, or samadhi. One more person. And asana is the correct answer. Loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord is Dhyana Yoga, Astanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or Nishkama Karma Yoga. So the question is basically the definition. Wow. So everyone basically got it right. Bhakti Yoga is correct. The destination of Bhakti Yoga is heaven, a good family, earth, or Lord Krishna himself. Wow, everyone got it right again. Lord Krishna is correct. Bhakti Yoga is a direct process. True or false? Yes, true. You need to go through all stages to achieve prema for Lord. So stages referring to like the other systems of yoga on the ladder. Is that true or false? And it is very well false. You can achieve Bhakti Yoga without the other processes.
Good.
Okay, this is taking time for some reason.
Oh, that was the last question.
Sorry about this.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Okay. Third place we have Riha. Second we have Varsha Mataji, and first we have Nikhilesh Prabhuji. Okay.
Wow, amazing.
Oh, Nikhilesh Prabhuji got 100%.
Oof.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, very good, very good. You should be giving the classes.
Sometime I have to be able to do that.
Why not? I was just saying to Pali, let's finish this and then we can continue. So thank you very much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you. And thank you, Pari. That was an amazing quiz, actually. Really good. Very, very well done. Thank you.